This is the Carty Method Podcast.
Well, hello. Welcome to another episode of the Carte Method Podcast. This is Portfolio Lab. Pretty excited about Portfolio Lab. Portfolio Lab is your way to have my eyes on your photographs. Not once, not twice, but 8 times per month. I do 2 photo review shows each week. Tuesday, I look at pictures that you're thinking about for your portfolio. Thursday, I give you an assignment, an industry level assignment that sets you up for future work. And it's also the kind of work that gets you work. That's what I try to do, is I try to set you up with the kind of work that gets you work. Obviously, I can't make that work for you. You have to make that work, but I can definitely advise you on work that works and how to make it. My name is Carty. I am a photographer. I've been doing this for 34 years, meaning professional photography. It's going to be 35 years in April. But what you should know is this is my anniversary week. I just crossed 18 years on YouTube, although I started my YouTube channel 18 years ago. It's been 4 years that I've been absolutely insanely consistent with broadcasting and helping the next generation of photographers. So if you are a photographer and you're underperforming, if you're trying to get to that next level, if you're a part-time photographer and you're trying to go professional, you're trying to leave that 9-to-5 job that you hate so much and transition to the life of a full-time photographer, this is the podcast for you. And this Portfolio Lab is something that I'm so proud of. I've been developing Portfolio Lab over the last 4 years. And what Portfolio Lab is how you're going to break through to professional photography. So Thursday is today, and today's assignment is simple. I wanted you to prove your niche. Prove your niche. It's super simple. Imagine if I had never seen your photography, before, this photo would immediately tell me what your niche is. I also needed you to include your Instagram so I can see what you're shooting within this niche and how curated your Instagram is. Or if you have a website, even better. The key to success in today's assignment lies in creating an image that serves as an instant portfolio signature piece, making your specialty immediately clear to anybody who looks at your work. So this was the brief that I gave you in order to create the work that I'm going to look at today. If you're a people photographer, the goal was to create a signature portrait that instantly reveals your specialization. If you shoot sports, if you shoot editorial portraits, if you shoot corporate, if you shoot sports, editorial, corporate, whatever you shoot within the people niche, fashion, I want to see a signature picture that instantly reveals your specialty. And I want you to also, I'm hoping that you showed me your unique approach to capturing your specific type of product, of your specific type of subject. And I wanted you to include elements that are unmistakably associated with your niche. So that is if you were a people shooter. If you shoot places, the whole goal was to capture a location that exemplifies your specialized focus. Do you shoot real estate? Do you shoot architecture? Do you shoot landscapes? I want you to demonstrate your distinct perspective on your chosen environment. And of course, I want you to include signature elements that define your style within your chosen niche. And of course, if you shoot things, I wanted you to showcase products in a way that immediately identifies your specialty. Do you shoot food? Do you shoot jewelry? Do you shoot automotive? And the goal was to display your unique approach in each presentation. Okay, and of course include styling elements to your product category. So, first of all, the goal was to have this be a horizontal assignment, because I truly believe that not enough of you understand why to shoot horizontal, why you would shoot horizontal, and why you would shoot vertical, and when to compose horizontal and when to compose vertical, and then also how to lay out a horizontal, like across 2 pages, dropping your image right in the center, although sometimes necessary, perhaps for a billboard, perhaps for a web cover, but compositionally that eliminates the use of that being able to happen 2 pages across a magazine. So the guidelines: horizontal, 1 photo. The goal was obviously 4,000 pixels wide, always at 100 dpi. No mobile uploads, no weapons, no blood, no violence. And it was due yesterday or last night at 12 midnight or 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So we are starting with Ian Martin. Ian says, this is the first shot edited of this set. Got to spend time with a special Alfa Romeo this evening just in time for the assignment. Shot the Fuji X-T5 27mm 1.2 ISO 125 f8 at a 60th of a second with one Godox AD60 Pro. And Ian has shared his website, which we're going to look at in a second. This is Ian Martin. Ian, thanks for submitting, Ian. This is gorgeous. Really, really pretty car. I mean, you lit it really well to make it not to make these other cars in the background really inconsequential. It also looks like you've made the background black and white and the car color so that the car really pops. Exposure wise, this is perfect. Let's look at this as a double page. I mean, it's pretty much composed perfectly between 2 pages. I mean, you wanted to show the car as large as possible. So I definitely see your mindset here, Ian. Let's look at this close up. I just want to see 100%. This Alpha is gorgeous. The lights, the body lines. Your exposure is really good. You chose the right car. You really isolated this. So now, are you really a car photographer? Let's have a look at this website to see if you're just doing this sometimes. Let's have a look at Ian Martin. Ian, let's get it on. This is great, Ian. Really, really fantastic presentation. I would change up the sequencing just a little bit so we're not getting 3 of the same down the center. I'd mix up the blue so that's through your website a little bit more. But holy moly, this is an absolute yes. Private. Again, very, very clean. Shooting for very elite clients. This is wow. Wow, Ian. Wow, this brings me joy. This brings me joy. Your portfolio brings me joy. Ian, I'd really love to meet you, by the way. I want you to remember we do these meetups every Thursday, and these are becoming, our meetups are becoming more like a workshop, and you get access to it because you're in Portfolio Lab. So I would love to see you today in Zoom and see your smiling face. So I'm finally able to put a face to a name. We meet up 15 minutes or so after this podcast. This is really great, Ian. There is no question that you shoot motorsports. Ian, congratulations. Well done. It's our first submitter. That is Ian Martin. Next is Gerard Danso. Danso says, I created this moment in Togo with my visit to the beach. Shot with a 5D Mark III, 24 to 105, f4, natural light. This is Gerard Danso. Where are you, Gerard? Here. we go. Gerard Danso. Well done, Gerard. Thanks for submitting. This is a beautiful moment. I definitely see couple of mistakes here. The exposure is very dark. It's a great moment, but what you've done in post is kind of killed your file. You can see here when I'm looking at the file, I know that you're intentionally doing an exposure thing here, but I feel like it could have been so much better. I also see like a ghosting that's happening around him, which looks like you're trying to make him silhouette on this background. Like you can see the ghosting that's happening down here. The horizon line is so much a part of this picture, Denso, that seeing your horizon line be this off is like it throws the picture. Like it really throws the picture. Like I just want to straighten this horizon line. It looks as though you tried to make this line the straight line, but obviously we need to use the water horizon line as our main line. I like how you dropped the horizon low in the sky. I mean, you dropped the horizon low in the picture. It's a really great concept, Denso. It's a really great concept, but I feel like what you're doing in post-production is actually killing your photos. You're doing bad things in post-production, and we need to correct them. And that can't happen without you really showing up more in the community and asking for help so we can help you fix what you're doing in Photoshop and Lightroom. Guys, this is Danso. Gerard Danso. Thanks for submitting, Gerard. Amazing. Well done. Oh, let's look at his website. Let me look at your Instagram, Danso. Just to see what the rest of your photography looks like. So just to see what the rest of your photography looks like, you can see exposure-wise, you're so much cleaner with your exposure. Yeah, we need to, I would really love you to stop with the watermarks and redo your Instagram. You need to redo your Instagram. Start from nothing and start reposting only the best stuff, because yeah, we've talked about this. There's too much. I need this picture that you're submitting here, Denso, to be like, I love the idea, but it stands way outside of, like, this feels almost like personal work because you haven't commercialized it enough. I want to see you formulate this idea more, and I want you to really watch what you're doing in post, because what I see here and what I see here is very, very, very different. Very different, Danso. That is Gerard Danso. Thanks for submitting, Gerard. All right, let's see who we got next. This is Denise Tuggle. Denise says, hey, Carty and crew, I'm proving my niche. I'm a beginning product photographer. Here's my product photography submission. Show off the Nikon D850 with a 1.2 ISO 100 f8 at a 13th of a second. 2 softboxes, one newer MS 150 main light. So this is shot with hot lights. You're saying set at 56K, which is, I think that this is a continuous light. I'm trying to teach you how to light with strobes, especially if you're shooting product photography, meaning flashes that pop. You're lighting with constant light, which we use for video. This is constant light. We're not using that for photography. I have photography lights in my bag. So this is Denise Tuggle. Denise, let's get it on. Thanks for submitting, Denise. So there's a couple of, first of all, the exposure is a bit hot. And this is one of those center focused horizontals that doesn't really need to be center focused. You can see what this looks like as a double page spread, Denise. We do talk about this quite often. This can, you can see, is begging to be framed here. on this side. This can is begging to be here, right? And then you leave this side for this glass, which is also wanting to be pushed over and composed this way. We're composing on the thirds, which we've talked about a couple of times, like to not compose directly on the thirds. And then the light is just, it's very simple. You're lighting as if you're shooting a person. When you're lighting products, you have to light them very different. If this is your table and this is your can and this is your glass, we have to, you're just putting your light, like I can see where your shadow is going. Your shadow is going here. So you're just putting your light here and lighting the scene. Okay, I'm also seeing the shadow from the glass against your wall, and your wall is also quite close. So the idea is we're trying to get a can not to have these two huge highlights and these two huge highlights over here, and the glass having these highlights is because you're lighting from a single source as if you were lighting a person. So the goal is to use a reflector, and it's folded like this, so it stands up. You can use 2 pieces of foam core, and then you put your light here and you aim your light that way, and then the whole thing now pushes out light at your scene, and it looks a lot nicer than what's happening here. This is too, it's just not how, it's not advanced light. And I know that you're beginning, so I'm giving you a tip as to how it's done. What you can definitely do is go on YouTube and find behind the scenes of photographers shooting products. Like, research how to light a product. You're just doing it, but you're not looking at how people do it or how it's done. Therefore, you're getting results that show that you're not doing that. So smart money invests time in watching tutorials of people who shoot product for a living, and watch exactly what their sets look like and do that exactly. One that I'm going to give you that is a great hint to start is called Beyond the Plate. And I am going to find Beyond the Plate on YouTube. And I'm going to send it to you. Videos. Oh, one more keyword. Here it is. So this video here, Eric Wolfinger, Beyond the Plate. If you want to watch probably one of the best behind the scenes that I've seen, one of the best behind the scenes that I've seen on somebody who shoots food. And I mean, specifically, like things, this will break your brain. This is one of the best behind the scenes on a photographer that I've ever seen, whether you're a food photographer or not. I like to watch this video at least once a year. I cry every single time that I watch this video. You will as well, because it's like, you'll see when you watch it. You'll see when you watch it. So, Chris says that I believe product photography is a lot more involved than lighting. Absolutely. Absolutely. But when you're starting from scratch, you're starting new with photography and new with product photography at the same time as Denise is. There's a lot of knowledge that she's trying to pack in. There's a lot of things that Denise has to learn all at the same time. So watching other people do it is super like important. And Mike Steinmetz just added, and again, Denise, thanks for submitting. Don't stop. Keep submitting. Your work is getting better every time you shoot. Just keep submitting, and you're going to keep getting better, I promise. That's Denise Tuggle, everybody. So, what I was about to say is, when you're trying to learn photography and you're also trying to niche, well, it's way smarter than shooting everything. Just shoot one thing and really like lock it in. And you have to surround your eyes on what's going on in the industry. Mike Steinmetz brought a beautiful quote. Mike says, photography is translated from the Greek words for light and writing. Photography is literally writing with light. It's light writing. Brilliant. Well said, Mike. Thanks for sharing. So, yeah, it's... Yes. So, everything that goes in your eyes needs to be surrounding how to. And it's do that, and you'll learn how to. I promise. All right, that is... Oh, and let's look at Denise's Instagram. Denise Tuggle. Your Instagram definitely needs a curation. And you can see that, like, lots of AI generated. There's lots of memes. There's, like... You're using your Instagram as a scrapbook. So... This has to change. Your Instagram should have, right now, nothing. It only has 32 posts. Make it have 0 posts, okay? And I would shoot, or have someone shoot a new profile picture of you. So this profile picture is not AI generated. Have someone shoot a new profile picture of your beautiful face and delete everything that's here. Everything. And start posting your product photography. And also, say that you're a photographer. Like, tell the world what it is that you're doing. You know, if you look at my profile, 34-year pro, I photographed the faces of today's generation. In 2023, I founded the Carty method. Links in bio. And when you're looking at my Instagram, you see what it is that I do. So, yeah, Venice, just curate your Instagram. It's super important, okay? All right. And watch Beyond the Plate. I posted the link in chat. Make sure you click it. And you guys, by the way, at home, watch Beyond the Plate. It's mind-blowing. All right, this is Stephen Bordeaux. Stephen says, proving my niche this week with this portrait of a wonderful young lady by the St. John's River. It was the beginning of golden hour, and it was her natural Brazilian skin, beautifully with natural reflections in the shadow. R6 Mark II, 50mm 1.8, ISO 100, 1/1250th of a second at 5.6. This is Stephen Bordeaux. Mr. Bordeaux. Let's get it on. Thanks for submitting, Stephen. So I definitely see what you're doing here. Definitely see what you're doing here. It's compositionally strong, Steve. And I like that. The mixed light is where you lose me. Like, I know that you're learning light, but mixed light on a face is always a mess. And you can see how the shadows that are happening in here, like, do this only, which is the shadow side, and then expose for this. But right now this side of her face is in shade because it's shaded by the other side of her face. Now this side of her face is lit really bad. Like, if you look at just this, side of her face, there's too many really unflattering shadows. She's a cute girl, but you have to light her in the right way. The position that she's in and the time of day, the light is just not in the right spot. And I'll say again, the light is never in the right spot, which is why we shoot in shade, or we go out with the last 2 hours of sunlight or the first 2 hours of sunlight. It's got to be one or the other. But this mixed light, like half in, half out, we can do this in the studio because we can control exactly where the light is but I would only recommend doing that with like perfect skin or a male face, right? But girls, like, side light just doesn't work with women. And then the shadows that are happening on this girl's nose and on her face, and she also looks like she's half in a blink. She looks like she's half in a blink. So her eyes are kind of, or she just smoked a baby's arm. So because of that, it's like, it's not hitting the way that the rest of your photography hits, Steve. Although, yes, it's composed as a double page, it's not your best work. It's just not. And I can say that because I've seen the rest of it. All right. Now, I'm going to look at Steve's, I think this is his website link. So let's have a look at Stephen Bordeaux. Steven, so for me, this picture's dark, by the way. You can see the picture, how this is dark versus his skin tone here. That's dark. I'm not doing full web reviews right now, but these are things that I want you to catch. For me, the photography on your site that you're showing here is stronger than the stuff that you're showing. It's stronger than this, much stronger. And look at how you're doing your light executions. Look at your light executions outside. Like open shade. You're shooting an open shade. Like, this shouldn't be on your site, and this shouldn't be on your site. This needs to be processed better. Again, I'm trying to not do full website reviews here, but you need more work here, Steven. You need more work here for sure. And looking at your Instagram, your Instagram also needs to be curated. You have the same shot twice. There's my suggestion: decide whether your Instagram is to get work or to show pictures of your family. You have to decide, because right now you're trying to do both with your Instagram, and it's defeating the point of you as the Jacksonville-based photographer every time you include this and this and this and this. It's like, now you're a dad and this. And again, it's okay to be a dad, but have Stephen Bordeaux's personal Instagram where it's private and you only let your family follow you, so they can see pictures of your kids, and keep this as your business, because you're diluting it by mixing all kinds of other stuff in here. And that's what I said, is like, I was going to scroll your Instagram. You need a curation badly. Like, you have 167 posts. You should edit that down to 0 and then slowly build back up just proper work. Draft all the rest and start a personal Instagram. Again, Michael's saying, I think the photo of your son in the window is good for your pro side. No, because he doesn't shoot kids. That's not what he's showcasing that he does on his website. So how would one photo of a child be relevant here? All it does is, like, it means this guy doesn't see you as a valuable photographer because you're also showing pictures of your baby. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you're going to just shoot kids, if that's what you were trying to do, just shoot kids then, and take all this other stuff away. Like, the people who want you to shoot a baby is not the same people who are wanting you to shoot editorial portraits. They're not the same people. So you're trying to, like, and again, this is what I'm advising. Please take the stuff of your son off and put it on a personal Instagram account, and take it off your website, and truly start marketing yourself to people who have money for, like, you're not trying to be a kid photographer. So pictures of your kid is just, it's just for you. It's not for an audience that sees you as a high value photographer. It's just for you. So, yeah, Stephen, again, I think today's submission is below your bar. It's below your bar, and because of that, it can't be on your website. Hopefully you have a better edits with better light from this girl. I hope that helps. Stephen Bordeaux. Stephen Bordeaux. All right, let's get into who our next photographer might be. And I have no idea who it might be. Hey, here it is, Frank Tom. Frank is new. Frank says, hey, this is my first submission, a portrait of a Bay Area singer-songwriter musician. The goal was to create images that could be used for promotional materials. Also part of an ongoing musician portrait series shot on location. R5 50mm 1.2, ISO 100, 12/50th of a second at 2.5. Shot outdoors at a construction site late in the afternoon. Sun is backlighting. Profoto B10 with a Westcott 24-inch. Beauty dish is the main. Nice. Used high-speed shutter speed to get the shallow depth of field. Please throw the whole concept of high-speed shutter out the window, please. Yeah, please stop using high-speed shutter. Let's look at Frank Tom. Frank, thanks for submitting. So the reason that we don't do high-speed shutter is for this reason exactly, which is you can't see any depth or anything behind this subject except for what's going on here. This really is a studio picture because of the high-speed shutter. Also, the center focused horizontal works sometimes, but in this case, it's really tricky with how he's holding the guitar and cutting the neck of the guitar like so radically where you are. I want you to look at what this looks like as 2 pages in a magazine. So as 2 pages in a magazine, it doesn't really work. Whenever we're shooting, we have to be thinking about the final use. Where will this photo go? Is it in a magazine? Is it on a CD cover? Is it a billboard? Is it 2 pages in a magazine? Is it an ad? Is it an editorial picture? And we have to compose in such a way that works. In this particular case, I don't feel like the end use was thought of when you shot this photo. High-speed shutter, you have super high-end Profoto gear. Using super high-end Profoto gear and then using high-speed shutter, which is something that people who shoot with speed lights use, it means that when you're shooting at 1/2500th of a second, first of all, the duration of the flash is 1/50,000th of a second. Okay, 1/50,000th of a second is the duration of the flash. So you can't shoot at 1/50,000th of a second. So the shutter speed when you're shooting strobe on location, whenever you're shooting strobe on location, the shutter speed is in order for like the rest of the scene to get exposed on the sensor. You're not letting any time pass in your exposure, so the flash can not only hit him but also fill a little bit of the room. Also, the ambient light of the room is part of the photo, which is why I'm imagining like you chose this location to shoot him, but we don't see the location. We just see blackness in the background and your top light. So I think if the idea here is for this to be an environmental portrait, which I think it is, part of an environmental portrait is the environment. And I think we're completely losing that because you're shooting flash at a 250th of like a 2500th of a second. Like that's high-speed shutter sync is just, for me, not a thing. And I keep trying to tell my viewers like to not adopt high-speed sync. In fact, slow your shutter down. I would have shot this picture at a quarter of a second, because that would have let the ambient light come up on the sensor. This is how you do it. You take an ambient light meter reading of the room. Say it's ISO 400, and ambient that the room gives you like 2.8 at 1 second. Or say it gives you F4 at 1 second or 2 seconds. So then you set your shutter speed at 4 seconds, and you set the power of your flash to give you 4.5, 4.33, right? So now you shoot at 4.33 at 1/4 of a second, at 2 seconds, because the flash is at a 50th of a second, a 50th of a second, like 1/50,000th of a second. So that freezes the image, and then it's open just for an instant longer, and then that fills the room, and then you have a very balanced lit picture that doesn't look like it's just studio light. So, Frank Tom, I'm so glad that you submitted. I really want you to watch your horizontal vertical, watch how you're cropping these instruments, because I need to see the neck. I need to see the guitar brand. Like, you have the brand of the guitar. It's a Fender. It's a Fender Stratocaster. It's a Jackson. It's a whatever, the brand. Once I know the brand, now the brand can be tagged, the brand can be shown, but it looks almost like you're intentionally cutting off the brand, which means now, and there's no identifier. I see a very small Fender right here, but it's too small to actually recognize, but there's a massive Fender logo right up there that you cut off. So for me, this is a vertical picture that you're trying to put in a horizontal frame. And I'm going to show you this as a vertical. For me, this is a vertical picture. And you can see there's literally no essence at all lost when it's a vertical picture. Only now there's a place for it to go. It's a full page in a magazine. So that's my advice for you, Mr. Frank Tom. Thank you for finding me. Thank you for submitting. Small other couple of things. Your exposure here is up. This is over. I would call this over by 20%. And also your contrast. This overall picture feels a little gray. It feels a little strange in the shadow underneath tone. And it's just, the contrast isn't right. Black isn't true black. You can see my true black here. You can see my true black here, but this isn't quite true black. That's an exposure thing. And again, this all is problems that come when you do high-speed sync. I hope this brings you value, Frank. Thanks for submitting. Also, I'd like to look to see some of your other photos, because part of this assignment was prove your niche. So I want to see you proving your niche. So let's see Frank Tom photography and see what else it is that you do. All right. I see. Thanks for submitting. I mean, again, I don't want to give you, this isn't a full web review, but I do want you to notice that you shoot a lot of center focused horizontals. This is composed on the thirds. Again, these frames don't work very well when you go to a double page spread. And again, I know some of these images are very difficult to compose any other way. Also, your black and white is like sepia tone here and straight black and white in others. Straight black and white. This kind of composition is way more usable. It's way more applicable. I feel like you're showing a wide range of types of people photography and a wide range of types of techniques and styles all in the same portfolio, which makes it super confusing. But again, if this isn't a portfolio review day, I see that you're an editorial portrait shooter. You sent me an editorial portrait. For me, I feel like there's some of your other work is stronger than this particular frame, Frank. Thanks for submitting. That's Frank Tom, everybody. New submitter. Thanks for submitting, Frank. This is Lamont DeSalle. Lamont says, hey, Carty, Lamont here. I chose an image I felt that spoke to my niche in a way that I chose an image I felt spoke to my niche in a way that shows range working with beauty and skincare. Sorry, that could be the sentence doesn't make sense. So that shows a range of working with beauty and skincare type of images. Okay. Let me know if this is book worthy and any other things I need to watch for. Thanks again for your time. Z6, 85mm, 1.8, ISO 400, 6.3, one large white umbrella with a Godox 8600 Pro. This is Mr. Lamont DeSalle. Lamont, thanks for submitting. So Lamont, we've talked about this photo before. We've talked about this as a horizontal and how, again, it should be a vertical. This picture for sure should be a vertical. Hand placement, again, it feels a little placed. Her hand feels a little placed. Like, again, when models are doing this with this, they can't just hold it there. They have to literally physically be moving. They have to be moving their vibes. They have to be moving their hands, and because if they just hold it there, in 1 second, it's going to look placed. And because it's coming up from out of frame, it almost looks like it could be someone else's hand. And then we also see a little hint of a hand here, which I feel like you should just take this hand out altogether. So now you can already see that looks way better. Just take that hand out. The overall exposure is over. This is overexposed by, we're going to call this a third of a stop. This is a black girl, like mixed race girl. So her skin is darker, but in the highlights here, it's going too light. In the highlights here, in the highlights on her hand, it's going too light. So you know that this girl's darker. So just pull that exposure back just a little bit. Composition wise, again, I mentioned and her freckles would show as well once we, her freckles would show more once we get that exposure right. She's got mascara dust underneath here. You see the mascara dust, which comes from this, her eyelashes. You got to retouch this out. And she also has a little bit under here, which is on this line, which you can also take out. But the skin retouching is good. I know that you send this out. She's got a couple of little hairs and stuff here also on her chin, which could be easily taken out. This is stuff that your retoucher should catch. She should definitely be catching this. But overall, this is a really good effort. It's a clean picture. Yes, it can go in your book. I would just put it in your book as a vertical. And you're using 1/3 of your sensor when you do that. You're using 1/3 and you're wasting this and this. You're wasting all of this sensor because you're shooting a horizontal picture. You're shooting a vertical picture in a horizontal space. So turn the camera the way that magazines are shaped and shoot covers and lock that in. Shoot covers. Model portfolios are vertical. They're vertical. So where does this picture go in a model's portfolio? Where does it fit? It doesn't, because it's horizontal. So lock that in. Lock it in. I'm going to say it one more time. Lock it in, because it's going to help you so much more. And this was a horizontal assignment, which means you have to compose this in a way that works as a horizontal. And for me, if you're trying to do beauty that works as a horizontal, it's got to be really, really close, where there's no other way, there's no other option, and you drop the gutter like right down the side of her face. Like, that's how you give me this as a beauty horizontal. That's the crop, is that. I hope that helps you. This is the mighty Lamont DeSalle. Lamont, thanks for submitting. But of course, we can't leave without looking at your website, social media, to see what your photography actually looks like. This is not Lamont DeSalle. Let's look at Lamont DeSalle. Lamont de Sal. There we go. This is Lamont de Sal's site. So, definitely see some fixes that you've been making here. It definitely fits within your niche. Obviously, a couple of this is another one of those verticals which we've talked about. There is that frame. Yeah, we've definitely just need to change the sequencing. Like these two white pictures shouldn't be side by side. It shouldn't be stacked on that, and these two shouldn't be stacked. Like rearrange them so they're not, so the grid looks right. You know what I mean? And then these two pictures shouldn't be side by side, and all of this white shouldn't be on top of each other, and these gray shouldn't be on top of each other. Like mix it up. These two brown backgrounds shouldn't be side by side. You know what I mean? Mix it up. So, like look at the way that my site reads. I try not to have like two white next to each other, two of the same thing next to each other. So when they look at this, like the white images stand alone and they don't bleed into what's next. And also it doesn't make it look like I'm a one-trick pony. It doesn't look like I'm a one-trick pony. You see styles repeat,
Yes, sir, yes.
but the way that I do the sequencing makes sense because I'm very aware of the photos and the photos that are around it in the grid in order for it, the whole, like there's not two black pictures side by side. You know what I mean? I try not to put the same idea next to itself. So overall, the site feel like I don't put pictures from the same set next to each other. So when you're looking at it like this, it just feels way, way, way deeper. So again, part of this is sequencing. Part of this whole portfolio thing is sequencing and knowing how to make our photographs relate together so it doesn't feel like repetition, it feels like style. You know what I mean? It's tricky. And again, you can see this is my version of the horizontal beauty. It's incredibly symmetrical and it's incredibly close up. So I hope that helps you. All right, that is Mr. Lamont de Sal. Lamont, thanks for submitting, my guy. I appreciate you, and you're definitely within your niche, no question. Definitely within your niche. I can't wait to see this develop. Well played. Lamont de Sal. This is Ramon Trotman. Ramon says, this is my first attempt to stage a lifestyle scene. I lost the daylight in the window, so I had to rely on ambient light in the hotel room and one key light. Shot the A7 IV with the Tamron 28 to 75, ISO 4000, f5 at an 80th of a second, 8200 with a softbox camera left. This is Ramon Trotman. Ramon, thanks for submitting. So, I'm not sure what you're saying here. Taking pictures of someone looking at a book, like it's not lifestyle enough because I don't believe it. It looks staged. She has an empty coffee cup that the handle isn't even turned towards her. It looks like she's never grabbed that teacup. It's just placed there. There's no coaster. There's no way that you're going to use a cup like this on such a nice table with no coaster. It just feels a little staged. And the ambient light in this situation, the ambient light is very warm. It's very tungsten, and your studio strobe is very neutral. So this is called mixed light, where I have this chandelier reflection, and this is putting all the light that's on this side of her face and all the light that's in this room. But then you're also lighting her from this direction. I feel like I understand what you're trying to do. I see what you're trying to do, but this picture is, it just misses it. I know that you're practicing. I want you to see this as a double page spread. Let me just drop this back to 100%. You're composing on the thirds. You have your grid set to thirds. So because you're composing on the thirds, you can see what happens when you see a double page spread. When you see a double page spread and you're composing on the thirds, you can see how it doesn't work. It doesn't work because your subject is now way close to the gutter, because you're following like quote unquote composition rules, because the camera has like 3 across, 3 down grid. You can set that grid to be 4 across, 4 down. And then you're shooting editorially for magazines. So for me, I definitely see what you were trying to do here, Ramon, but I feel like this picture, it misses because it's staged. It's not real. I don't believe it. And the light, if you lost the natural light, I still wouldn't have necessarily picked this room as a place to do it. It's just someplace in your house. I see that it's someplace in your house. You're shooting your wife. Like, I got that. Like, this is practice, but I feel like you need real world application, which starts with you not using your wife or your partner. It's using a different person that fits your portfolio more. Like it's rarely going to be just grab your mom, your sister, your someone, and just put them in, and then those people make up this portfolio that gets you work. It's not going to happen. You have to be finding the right subjects, and that idea is rarely going to be happening in your house. The orange paint on the wall for this picture, it's too severe. It's too severe, and it takes me out of the moment of what you're trying to make me look at. And like, if it was a nice neutral white paint, it would have brightened the whole scene. But because of the orange paint, your subject has an orange cast. Like, the whole picture has an orange feeling. And because it's tungsten mixed with daylight, tungsten is very yellow. So then that on top of the yellowish walls, it's just not a thing. I would walk in this room and say, can't shoot in this room. Let's find something else. So it's like photography, it's neutral. This is why this room is white. This is why every studio I've ever been in has been white. I have a feature wall like behind me, but all the other walls in my entire house are white, because if I shoot in here, I don't want to cast. If my wall was red, it would kick back red. If it was blue, it would kick back blue. If it's yellow, it kicks back yellow. This is why I'm able to have neutral light on me. I have neutral light because this wall is white. And then I'm able to bring in color by using RGB. So I can make this area pink. You know what I mean? I can make it blue. So to me, it's not a scene for lifestyle. If you want to practice this, go to a coffee shop. You want to practice this? Go to a coffee shop. Find somebody who looks like they could be a model, and then photograph them enjoying their coffee in a coffee shop. Then now you have a believable lifestyle picture. But please, please, please know that I'm smart enough to know that if this cup had tea or coffee in it, there would be steam coming from this. Yes or yes. I know it's an empty cup. You know why? Because it's an empty cup. Yeah, don't do that. Assume that your viewers are really smart. Assume that your viewers are really smart. So you're faking this, and there's so many tells that you're faking this. All right? So next time, don't fake it. Actually do it. That is Ramon Trotman. Ramon, let me look at your website right now to see where you are aligning. This is Ramon Trotman's website. For me, the site shows better work than what you submitted. I mean, you need some help with the site as far as who you are and what it is that you do. But I feel like pictures like this, again, she's faking this, and having a picture like this, and also your pictures aren't clickable. meaning that I can't make them bigger. Did you know that I can't click your photos and make them bigger? You see here, oops, when we go to, you click the photos and they become big, and then you can navigate just the photos. But with yours, you can't click the photos. So I can't see anything bigger. That's something that you can fix. And again, this picture, amazing. This picture lowers my trust in you because I don't believe her. She's faking. You have really genuine moments, which means anytime that you have somebody who's like trying to like be all that or fake it, it really stands out. So this guy stands out because he's showing me how cool he is, which makes me want to punch him in the face. You know what I mean? He's trying to be too cool. You know what I mean? Like push my sunglasses. Like, but again, you let him do that and you took that picture. So that's kind of on you. But this, again, she's posing and pretending, where here, this is true lifestyle. He is actually painting in the actual location that he paints. It's lit well. Like this, yes. This, no. And you need to know the difference. And what you sent me today is literally also a no. That is Ramon Trotman. Thanks for submitting, Ramon. And again, I know you have it in you. But you just need to know with your own work what the difference between an 11 and a 9 is. And 9s are not good enough. It's just straight, like a 10 out of 10 for the average photographer is good enough, but it's not good enough for you. Simple. It's not good enough for you. For you, you're looking for 11s because you're trying to not be part of the 86% of the photographers who think they're going to be a photographer and who fail in the first year. You're not going to be one of those photographers, which means your standards have to be the highest. You see how high my standards are. You have to have your standards closer to where mine are. I hope that helps. That is Ramon Trotman. Thanks for submitting, Ramon. All right. So what we're learning is you really have to aim high. You really have to aim high, and it all has to do with what you look at. If you're looking left and right at what other photographers who are also clueless are doing, you're looking at the wrong people. If you're looking locally at what other photographers are shooting in your market, you're looking at the wrong place. You need to look at what people in the biggest cities are doing within your niche at the highest level, which means go to a magazine store. Stop looking at photography on the internet. Straight. Go to a magazine store and only look at photos that were worth putting into a magazine. That's a curated book for you by Vogue. It's a curated book of the best ads and the best photography for this month. So look at ads out in the world. Look at Nike ads. Look at billboards. Like that, the amount of commerce that goes behind a billboard. Look at one billboard and think that's $500,000. They put $500,000 behind that one photograph that's on that billboard. So like when you look at applied photography, like there's the internet is like the wild, wild west. Anybody can put anything on the internet. Anybody can, but not anybody can put something in Vogue magazine. So if you look at only Vogue or only the biggest magazines within your niche, well, you see work that gets work. And you'll see photographers and you'll see their names over and over and over again. And then those photographers then look at what they do on the internet. Way smarter route. All right. This is Chris Foster. Hey, Carty and crew. For this assignment to prove my niche, I shot in my niche of product photography. R5 100mm macro, ISO 100, f22 at a third of a second. Or 0.3 seconds. Shot with 3 LEDs, 1 key, 1 fill, 1 right reflector. Background color, shot on a fabric backdrop. This is Chris Foster. Let's see what Chris has done for me. Chris Foster, thanks for submitting. So Chris, this is a really good swing. The issue is the quality of light. The quality of light, because you're using LEDs and trying to light with them. You're using movie lights to light something that demands photography light. And I want you to look at the light quality here. Notice how it's really difficult to get actual white, like you're not truly color balanced here. The fabric background is kind of inconsequential because I don't see that much of it, but it does feel a little cut and paste under here. So let's make this 100%. Let's go to Behance and let's do a little search on watch photography. And I want you to look at what your competition is doing. And we're going to say creative fields, photography. And let's see what your competition is doing within the spaces of watches. I want you to look at the light quality here. And I want you to look at the light quality of the picture that you sent me. Do you think he shot this with LEDs? Do you think he shot this with LEDs? Or no? Do you think he shot it with studio lights, strobes, reflectors, blockers? Like, what do you think? Look at the light quality, right? Imagine same camera, different light quality. Look at how your metal looks versus this, right? Also how neutral the chrome is, right? So that's just one. Let's look at more from this set. Again, what type of light do you think he used for this watch? Do you think he used LEDs or do you think he used strobes? Also, look at the set and how it's highly polished and highly reflective, right? So I want you to look at the first picture and the set and how it's a contrast to it. In fact, I want, like, even in a black set, it's reflective. It's black plexiglass. It's not black fabric. So again, black plexiglass, not black fabric on figure. So again, studio light or LED? What do you think? Studio light or LED? What do you think? So, and again, this studio light or LED? What do you think? So there is no, and it's all about references. Find me a photo that they're using a watch on top of fabric. This isn't a thing. They don't put watches on fabric. They put watches on reflective surfaces. So where's your reflective surface? Right? Like this is the intelligent imitation that I want you to be looking at. Like you could shine up this watch and shoot it incredibly well, but in order to do that, you need to have the references that to look at to know what other shooters are doing. Hello. So again, it's suspended and shot in a really creative way and is a real creative angle. Suspended, again, with a gradient. Reflective surface, black plexiglass. So white, textured white, actually. If you look at this, it's a textured white. So this is what we do when we're trying to shoot a watch or anything. Look at this. This is a darker set, but it's shot, look at the angle, and it's actually in water. It's actually in water. This is a very rare picture where it's like floating in black, but you can see it's just a dark background, but the watch is structured and floating. So this one isn't that inspired personally. It's average, but like this is what you have to do with every single thing that you're trying to shoot. You got to look to see how far they're going. Like this is just a cut and paste. Like, so this is shot in the studio and pasted poorly on top of this background. So ignore that. But this is award winning. So if you're shooting watches, you have to go this far on research to see how to shoot a watch. You have to. And again, look at the quality of light. Look at, like, this is perfection. So, Chris, you can't hide when it comes to shooting this type of stuff. And you can't do it with LEDs, bro. You just can't. LEDs are for video. I want you to just say that. LEDs are for video. And anytime you are using LEDs for photography, especially if you're inexperienced, you're compromising. And you're doing it the wrong way, right? I mean, you can. Don't get me wrong. I shoot portraits with LED here in my office from time to time. But I have way more experience than you. Do you know what I mean? And again, I don't do it often. I do it just sometimes. And the other thing is, are you on a tripod? I hope you're on a tripod for this. Your composition is strong, which makes me think that you're on a tripod. But again, when you're on a tripod, when you build the set, like, you're really able to craft something that's amazing. It's still a really good attempt, but you can be so much better than this, Chris Foster. You're going to be so much better than this. Just keep pushing. Thanks for submitting, my guy. Just think of how far this is from the last one. Timothy Riviera says he gave up on his LEDs. He got strobes yesterday. And the funny thing is, let's look at Chris Foster, the rest of your work, Chris. Sorry, this is one thing I forgot. I can see that you're curating your Instagram 1DX. You still need more pictures here. We could get a better frame of this 1DX. It's a little shallow depth of field. You can see it's not like crispy the whole way. It's like sharp here and not sharp down there. Like, it's not really on the right background. This is not really the framing with the, again, show the flower alone. But again, a flower and then a car, like, this shouldn't be on your Instagram. All of these pictures that that I critiqued and was like, no, they're not, they can't be here. You have to make new work, straight up. Just make new work. Keep pushing. All the things that I've expressed to you over the last little bit, delete those. And pictures that are like, you hear me say yes, those pictures go on your Instagram and on your website. That means you got to make a lot more and start submitting a lot more. All right. This is Mr. Chris Foster. Chris, thanks for submitting. And, oh, what's that? That's not the right button. I'm like, why did I push that button? Did you notice? Did you guys notice? Did you notice? I haven't caught chat. Did you notice? Did you notice? All right, let's see who's next. This is Mike Morrison. Mike says, this is an A7R5 with a 24-70 GM, f22, ISO 50, 32nd exposure. This is Mr. Mike Morrison. Mike, thanks for submitting. Miss seeing your photos in my submission folder. Let's look at this as a double. This definitely fits as a double. You've given yourself good space. I mean, I was just worried about the top of the windshield, but we have a little bit of space. I'd love to have just a secondary light kind of giving me a little bit of rim and a little bit of separation here, perhaps a top-down light. Not sure if you're lighting top down, but a top down light I'd really like to see. This is really polished, Mike. This is really well done. Really well done. That's an 11 for me. Really compositionally strong. Very good. It's super sharp. Really great lines, great light. The background just has your eye going straight to the motorcycle. There's a little bit of weirdness happening in here, I think, which has to do with places that you missed cleaning up the black in here. This is not 100% black. So if you did a black cleanup, I want you in your file to look in this area to make sure that that's 100% black. I'm seeing it not. And as I move the picture around here, I'm going to make this just a little bit smaller. As I move the picture around here, you can see that that actually goes from here all the way down here. You can see this whole area here isn't blacked out enough. And then I can see down here the floor. Obviously, you don't want to go too far in. But yeah, just make sure that you kind of clean up this area because it's not quite as nice as the rest. Yeah, overall, this is a good one. This is a good one. This is an 11 for me. And I would love to look to see your Instagram, your website, see what you're sharing. Let me just turn this heat off. It's getting a little hot in here. Oh, there we go. Bueno. All right. Let's look at Mike Morrison's site. Mike, yeah, this is dope. Could use a little curation. But I could definitely help you with that. You just need an edit. You just need an edit and some sequencing. Yeah, an edit and some sequencing. I definitely can help you know what to have more of and what to show less of and the order to put it in. This is good. This is Mike Morrison, guys. Well done, Mike. That's an 11 for me. Well done. Mike Morrison. Taylor, how we doing? You good? You good? Where you at? She's on that side. She's always happy. Well, I mean, when she shows up. When she shows up, she's happy. When she's not gossiping about other girls. That's Mike Morrison. Thanks, Mike. All right, this is this. Ready to take your photography business to the next level? I've created 3 powerful tools designed to make an immediate impact on your workflow, your client outreach, and your daily habits. These resources will help you work smarter, grow faster, and feel more confident in building your career. You'll find links to all 3 under tools at thecartymethod.com. If you're struggling to find clients, my Cold Outreach Master Pack has everything that you need to land new business. It includes 18 proven email templates and a step-by-step guide for writing emails that get opened and generate real responses. If you're ready to take your client hunting strategy up a notch, this pack gives you clear, effective blueprints to start getting results. Consistency builds success. My professional photographer habit tracker is your daily accountability tracker. It helps you build the habits that matter most to running a successful photography business. Track your progress, set meaningful goals, and stay focused on what moves the needle. If you're serious about making steady progress, this tracker is a game changer. Shoots can get chaotic. Stay organized. My Ultimate Photographer's Call Sheet is your one-stop solution for planning and managing every detail of your shoots. From client communication and location info to equipment checklists and timelines, this tool helps you stay on top of it all. With my call sheet, you'll run your shoots like a seasoned pro portfolio, no matter how big or small the project. This is the call sheet that clients will remember forever. These tools are built for photographers who are serious about their craft and ready to streamline their businesses, connect with clients, and build professional habits that last. You can find them all under tools at thecartymethod.com. Let's start transforming your business today. All right, we got a couple more shooters to look at today. Just a few more. Starting with Mr. Charles Fortin. Charles says, everything turns to silence as two hikers are finally reaching the Pacific Ocean after a long hiking day in Nicaragua. P.S. I've oriented the hiker towards the center of the image, even though they are in movement, because it was more powerful to me that way. I broke the rule you mentioned a few weeks ago. What do you think? Portfolio worthy? A7 28 to 75, 2.8, ISO 400, 5.6 at 2/50th of a second. Shot natural light. This is Charles Fortin. Charles, thanks for submitting. This is brilliant. I love this, Charles, so much. I love it. 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 Yes, 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 Charles. Yes. This works so well. This is textbook. My only concern, they're a little low in the frame. You have to keep in mind when you go to print, you lose like a quarter of an inch. So you lose like a quarter of an inch around the whole thing. So the distance of them to the bottom is going to end up being a little bit shortened. I would have pushed them up maybe the bottom of the horizon line like there, just to give me like a little bit of extra. But oh my goodness, Charles, this is such a win. This is such a win for me. Let me just hide myself so you can take in the beauty that is Mr. Charles Fortin. Charles, that's an 11 for me, my guy. That is an 11. The 11s are going to be coming a little bit harder. 11s are not only what I will call a perfect picture. A perfect picture is a photo that will get you work. I'm just going to say it like that. Yes. There are no perfect photos. There are no perfect pictures. But a perfect picture is a photo that works. And a photo that works is a photo that speaks your niche and will grab attention, stop the scroll, and command people to look at more of your work. So
this absolutely does it. Yes or yes. This is 100% high quality content from Charles Fortin.
Let's get it on, Charles. Well done. Well done. It's Charles Fortin, everybody. Living in Nicaragua, fellow Canadian, Charles Fortin. Now, Charles, we need to see what you do with the website. We need to see what you do with your Instagram. Let's look at your portfolio. This is Charles Fortin. Charles. So, challenge yourself, explore the world. I feel like the format of the portfolio is not right. The portfolio is not formatted the way that it needs to, just right from the get into the pictures. You're now making me choose. Do you want to see this? Do you want to see this? It's like, no, I'm just going to leave, because you're not showing me photos. You're showing me three. You're showing me categories. So now I have to click here. And now once I click here, now I'm in a gallery, but the gallery is not using the whole space. Then the gallery is not, you're wasting space here, up and down. You're wasting space here, up and down. And sorry, I can't draw on the screen right now for some reason, but we're not using the space here and here. The images are too small, and you're making me click to get here. So for me, like, don't make me jump through hoops. Adobe Portfolio is horrible, Charles. I'm just going to say it. I left Adobe Portfolio. I've now clicked stories, and now you're again making me choose. It's too many clicks to get to the work. Just show me the work. Like this, it creates frustration for your viewers, because when I go to your website, hi, I'm Charles. Okay, I see 3 photos. So I click here and then I see photos. So that extra click, you decide what I need to see first. You decide. You decide what I need to see first. And also the way that you're dividing your categories, I feel like there's you're spreading your work around too much, and because of that we're missing great work, because you're making me find it instead of just showing it as soon as you click and put that great work all in one gallery. Like that, like I understand the reason to categorize your work, but you should not categorize your work. You should show all your work in one gallery so people can get an overview of who you are. And you should leave Adobe Portfolio yesterday. It is the worst platform. It is the worst. They've not updated in over 10 years. They've not updated a template, an interface, like added a feature. They haven't done anything. They're so far behind that I left them like literally probably 6 months ago, Adobe Portfolio, and I'm never looking back. Adobe Portfolio is where you start, but at this point, like Pixpa is so good and it's so cheap. Just use Pixpa. It's a no-brainer. It's literally way better than in Squarespace, and it's 1,000 times better than Adobe Portfolio, I promise you. All right, guys, that was Mr. Charles Fortin. Charles, fantastic image. Your website, you need to scrap and start fresh. You need to start fresh. And again, so images like this are not buried, so we can find them. I hope that brings you value. That is Mr. Charles Fortin. All right, Charles. Why was I not able to draw on that? Which is very weird. Let's open Screen Brush Preferences. Yeah, it's weird. So we're going to quit Screen Brush and we're going to open it back up. There we go. Open her back up. And then we do this. And then look, now it lets me draw there. You see? I knew it. Sometimes it just gets weird. All right, guys. That was Charles Fortin. We are looking now at Mats Carlson. Matt says, hello. I think this picture shows my studio portrait style shot in my home studio. R6 EF50 millimeter 1.2 ISO 100 3.2 of a second at 125. Shot with the AD200 Pro with a softbox and grid. And a high positioned LED backlight. This is Mats Carlson. Mats, thank you so much for submitting. This is Mats Carlson. Mats, this is a vibe. This is definitely a vibe. I feel like the expression is a little bit haunting, and the Rembrandt lighting, I can see your shadow. It's here, and then this shadow is here. Like it almost joins, but it doesn't. You can see here that shadow line is right here. That nose shadow line is right here, and then this shadow line. Hey, Justin, thanks for subscribing. So you can see it's like this shadow is here, and then this shadow is here. So that means that your side light, which you have, this is your background, this is your subject, this is his nose, this is your camera position. You need to have, like, your light is here, but we need to just rotate that way just a little bit, just to push that nose shadow over. And I'm talking that distance is like less than 6 inches. And if you're not American, I'm going to say that's less than 10 centimeters. Okay. Like it's like 5 centimeters. And you're watching only this nose shadow here. It appears that it joins, but it's the softness that's joining them. But they're not joined. If you look at the hard light, it actually goes right there. And this line goes right there. So the Rembrandt light, the next thing that I'm noticing is his expression. His expression looks like he's just like a little bit in between It's not pleasant. It's not like he's thinking about something. It's not inviting. It's just sort of there. So his expression for me, it might not be the right expression. Compositionally wise, it's very strong. You can see here, we can have big blocks of like headline here, and we can have text down here. So editorially, it works really well. I just feel like the expression is just a little bit lacking. I love what you're doing with the light up here. Oops. I love what you're doing with the light up here. And this negative fill that's happening here this is really technically so close. It's so close, Matt. It's so close. It's like 10 centimeters, 5 centimeter movement on the light, and like just getting him into that, like into the right expression for this light. And I don't think that this is the right expression for this light. That's all I'm trying to say. But you're close here. This is very, very, very close. This is Mats Carlson, everybody. Let's look at Matt's website or his Instagram. This is Mats Carlson's site. Mats, yeah, again, your work hits hard, my guy. It hits hard, and I feel like this is a great opener. I like how you're mixing the editorial with the studio-ish feeling. Yeah, I feel like it's just the expressions is something that I want you to be watching. Just making sure, especially with men, that you're getting the right expression with the men that you're shooting. I feel like this is a way better expression with this guy. So that's just something, this is a way better expression with this gent. So that's just something that I want you to be watching. And again, your Rembrandt lighting, I want you to be noticing that you're not catching this second shadow. You did it again here. It's almost there. You can see it's almost there, but it's not there, which means you got to go more around the bend with that light. You need to go more around here with that light. And again, yeah, we're watching this shadow and it's joining that shadow. And yeah, just watch how high you're skying it, because you're also putting a little bit of extra shadow in here. But you're getting there. You're getting there. Mats Carlson, everybody. Thanks for submitting, Mats. Mats Carlson. And you can see, man, I'm turning these shooters into destroyers. Turning these shooters into destroyers. And this is our last photo of the day. And again, today's assignment was called Prove Your Niche. Prove your niche. I just want to see you tell me what you think you shoot, and then show me. And then I'm going to look at your website and look at your Instagram and see if you're a one-trick pony or if this is actually like a career, something that you're doing for life. This is Mike Steinmetz. Mike says, I'm an editorial photographer that captures blue-collar life on and off the job. Oh, Mike. I love that tag. Do you understand how long it took us to get there? I love that. I mean, we're still going to tweak that statement, but that brings me joy. R8 100 millimeter macro. Mike just got this new lens. I'm so pleased. ISO 100 f13 at 1/25 of a second. ISO 100, yeah, f13 1/25 of a second. 8200 pro camera left at 16th power. With a 5-inch reflector diffused. So this is hard light. Mike Steinmetz. Last photo of the day using some hard light. This is a yeah. This is a yeah. This is a yes, Mike. Let's look at this as a double. You definitely placed the Carhartt logo well. It's just where the fingers are going across 2 pages. I really like your light, Mike. The light is inspired, and hard light really works, right? With no diffusion, it looks super dope. I love the spinning blade in the foreground. That's great. And again, the finger push, everything here works, Mike, except for you see the placement across 2 pages. Like I just, it's almost like I feel like you could have pulled back a bit more and not shown so little of the glove. Give me a little bit more of the glove and show me these fingers on the other side of the gutter. And then you can place this blade on that other side like this blade is coming up. This is so close, Mike. So close. It's a really, really good execution. The light is great. It's just the way that you're working between two pages. That's the only thing that I'm saying as the issue here. But it's so close, Mike, and the light's so good. I'm giving you an 11 on this one. Like, it's so freaking close, Mike. So close. Taylor, what are we saying? Yes or no? All right. She says yes. Guys, that's the last photo of the day. And I do have some photos of the week that I'm going to mention. Let's talk to the photos of the week, because there were some real bangers today. There were some real bangers. I have to be critical. But I also want you to know that I recognize really big attempts, and even if they didn't hit the mark exactly, I want to thank you guys all for submitting, and know that, like, I see how hard this is, and I know Portfolio Lab it's such a great thing. I hope you guys who are watching right now will consider joining if you're not in Portfolio Lab, because you need this with your work. You need it. We're going to start with our first photo of the week. Our first photo of the week goes to, this is Ian Martin. Ian, this is a photo of the week. Ian Martin. Congratulations, Ian. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful execution. Ian Martin. Photo of the week. Well done, Ian. That is our first. And again, I don't know how many there are going to be. I have no guarantees. I have no guarantees how many photos of the week they're going to be. Now, there's something here, you know? There's something here that's really special. And I want that to not go unnoticed. So this is another photo of the week. And the first from this new photographer. You know him as Frank Tom. Frank, there's something here, my guy. I see you, and I will help you become an absolute assassin. I promise you. Well done. It's a very good swing. Remember everything I said about high speed sync, and please stop doing it. Slow speed sync. And I want you to hear the shutter speeds that you hear my people doing. They're like a third of a second. 2 seconds. Like, these are shutter speeds that people are doing with strobes. So again, they've learned the Jedi ways. Another, again, technically almost perfect photo. This is a photo of the week. Proving your niche, from Mr. Lamont DeSalle. Lamont. It's photo of the week, buddy. Very clean. Again, remember everything I say, but don't forget that, like, yes, I feel you. When you feel in it, I feel in you. So well done. That's Lamont DeSalle. Well done. All right. This next, and again, I want this to be recognized. I want this to be recognized because I know how hard this photographer's trying, and each time he learns something, the next time he shoots and shares with me, it always works. So this was close. It didn't make the mark, but it's still a photo of the week because of the swing that this gentleman took. This is Chris Foster. Chris, I'm still proud of you. I'm still proud of you. Even if I ripped you, I'm still proud of you, Chris, because I know how hard you're trying. Congratulations, buddy. We're still, again, the next time you shoot, bro, trust me, like, I feel you. I feel you, and I know the journey that you're on with me, and I trust you. I know you trust me, and you listen. So I'm giving you props only to say that this picture can go in your book today, but it won't be here in a month from now because you're going to shoot over top of it. You're going to just... So it is a great start. Okay? I hope that brings you value. That is Chris Foster with a photo of the week. Well done, Chris. All right. Next photo of the week. This is Mike Morrison. Mike, glad you're back to submitting. Mike is always hella consistent with his work. The quality, hella consistent with the quality. You did very well, Mike. This is Mike Morrison with a photo of the week. Taylor? Yes. Well done, Mike Morrison. You with me? You feeling this? You feeling this? I hope so. Look at me. Look how I'm calm as a cucumber today. Calm as a cucumber because the work is good and I know you guys are trying. I'd really love to see more submissions. I have to say that. I'd love to see more submissions. I know many of you signed up for Portfolio Lab. I know many of you are set up for my YouTube submissions. And again, you can still submit. If you're you're grandfathered into that fee if you signed up when it was my YouTube submissions before I called it Portfolio Lab. So you're grandfathered in at that rate as long as you stay on. So now if you quit or cancel, well, then you can't get back that $27 rate again. So submit, utilize what you are paying for. Yeah. That's Mike Morrison, everybody. Well done, Mike. So who else? Who else wins photo of the week? Well, this guy right here. This guy right here. This guy right here. Charles Fortin. Charles. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. That's a photo of the week, Charles. Congratulations. Absolutely beautiful. Well done. That last car was an Alfa Romeo, Daryl. That was an Alfa Romeo.
Yes, sir, yes.
Congratulations, Charles Fortin. That is a photo of the week. The last car was an Alfa Romeo, Daryl. All right. And our last photo of the week goes to... This is Mike Steinmetz. I have one more, actually. One more I'm going to give photo of the week to this last shooter. This last shooter has is in my accelerator. The growth from this shooter has been explosive. And again, I'm hard on everybody, not just you. This is Mats Carlson. Mats. Again, I want me to remember every single thing that I say with these critiques, but you are very, very, very close. I'm very proud of you. Guys, those are your photos of the week. Best in show, you say? Best in show is a lot harder, and there's only two best in show. There's only two. There is only two. Ladies and gentlemen, today's best in show, there are two photographers sharing it, starting with Ian Martin. Ian, this is best in show. Ian Martin with this Alfa Romeo. Don't call it a Corvette.com. Alfa Romeo. Beautiful, beautiful capture. That's Ian Martin with a best in show win, which is always, always big. Oh shit, I found another best in show win. So there's three. You guys have to divide it by 3. Your next best in show win, if you guys are playing bingo at home, if you guys are playing the Carty Method Photo Portfolio Lab bingo, this is Mike Morrison, best in show. Mike Morrison. Well done, Mike. This is clean AF. Well done. Mike surely killed this one. Well done, Mike Morrison. And your last best in show goes to Charles Fortin. Charles, congratulations, buddy. Excellent, excellent, excellent capture. Brings me joy. You did very well. Guys, I'm sure you want to know your next tasks. Well, first of all, we're doing our Portfolio Lab workshop at 2 o'clock. It's going to give me 20 minutes to chill before I have to talk again. But secret time, I'm going to live stream today. I'm going to get set up, get you guys all in there, start talking. Today we are talking about Portfolio Lab. We're talking about spec photography. We're talking about working for specific clients. We're talking about proving your niche. We're talking about niches. Like, these Zoom calls are so sick and so valuable. And guess what I'm going to do today? I'm going to live stream today's Portfolio Lab workshop for you. If you're at home and you want to watch to see what these Zoom calls actually are like, if you want to see some of the faces that actually sign up for Portfolio Lab and are in my community, and it's a good opportunity for you to sign up, because again, this is like your last call if you're not in there already at 2 o'clock. The Zoom link's inside Portfolio Lab. You get it inside there. So yeah, you have about 20 minutes to sign up, watch the short video. That's the onboarding, so you know all the stuff to do, and then jump into meetups so you can get that Zoom link so you can hang out with me. And then I'm going to broadcast it. I'm going to hang out live. It'll be a public stream live for my subscribers, so you don't have to be a member to watch. I'll also be able to watch it. But guess what? After it ends, it is going to be members only content. If you want to watch that after the fact, after it ends, it's going to be members only. So guys, I'm not always going to stream these live, but this particular one I am. So if you want to be on TV, make sure that you are in our Portfolio Lab Hangout workshop that's happening at 2. Next is your assignment for next week. Now, smart people watch my show on Tuesday, because Tuesday I say this assignment 2 days early, but today is the day it gets posted. So today you can join and start working on it. Week 8. And week 8's assignment is your perfect client on spec. Your perfect client on spec. So I want you to pick your ideal client. Who do you want to work for? Who do you dream about working for? You know, recently I did an ad, like my assignment was do an ad for Nike using the moniker Just Do It. Now you can shoot an ad for any company that is your dream client. So this is how you figure out who pays you for your photography. This is how you figure out who pays you and how to get them to pay you. So the goal is for you to look at examples of successful campaigns on Behance, on brand websites, in print, magazines, on billboards, and use intelligent imitation to create content for that brand, your ideal client. They can be big or small, but it's important to be original. It's important to include the brand's product or show your ideal client an example of the outcome they would get if they use you. I also want you to give me 2 sentences describing the brand that you're creating the spec shoot for, and I want a reference. Include a link to the brand, to the campaign that you've drawn inspiration from, so I have context. I need a link. There is going to be some pre-production here. You're going to have to research your chosen brand's visual identity, their past campaigns. You're going to have to actually brainstorm your objectives. What do you want to happen? Do you want to show them these pictures? Do you want them to be using them in their Instagram? I want you to have clear objectives for these spec images, and I want you to plan shots that demonstrate your unique perspective while respecting their brand guidelines. Holy shit, you have to do pre-production. Now, for execution, I want you to create images that feel authentic to the brand. I want you to include space for potential copy. Like, they're going to put their ad or their copy on top of it, so you have to include space for that. And I want you to maintain professional quality, a professional quality that is literally at the level that they could use, okay? That matches existing campaign standards. The key to success in this assignment lies in creating images that not only showcase your deep technical and creative abilities, but also demonstrate a deep understanding of your chosen brand's marketing needs and their visual language. But what do I shoot, horizontal or vertical? That depends on your reference. It can be either. You'll know whether your client does heavily horizontal or heavily vertical and base your orientation on their reference. So I'm going to show you what it means to shoot on spec. Are you guys aware of a photographer named Sean Thomas? Sean Thomas shoots Porsches, and I've been helping Sean develop for almost a year. And Sean went from shooting cars that he saw on the street that he liked to shooting Porsches. And that transition, and me working with him and helping him go to that transition, has made a result. Sean has been shooting Porsches on spec with the hope that one day Porsche would notice. And guess what? This says right here, Porsche Canada to Sean. Comment to Autolux Imagery. Your content is great. We'd love to use it. To accept, reply back with yes, Porsche. This is Porsche Canada's verified site on Instagram. This is what happens when you do what I say. This is exactly what happens when you follow what I'm doing and belong to Portfolio Labs and actually put your work up for critique. This is what happens. Now, Porsche is going to be using Sean's images, and it's just a matter of time before Sean is getting hired to shoot for Porsche directly. All because of the Carty method and all because of Portfolio Lab and this madness that I have going on here. So, you want an opportunity to talk to me? Make sure you're in Portfolio Lab. I'm going to be on Zoom. I'm going to catch you guys sometime back here live. Sometime. It'll probably be 2:15 or so by the time I get the live set up and go live. But if you want to hang out, come back and hang out with me. Guys, I love you. Thanks so much for watching. I hope today brought you value.
This commercial-free live stream was brought to you by the members of this channel. If it wasn't for you, we'd have to fill up these live streams with ads that would just interrupt the flow. The members of this channel make commercial-free content during these live streams possible. Consider becoming a member for $5 a month today to gain access to secret live streams, live chats, and to show your support with that crown badge next to your name. Sharing is caring. If this content has brought you value today, share it, clip it, post it to your socials. Curating and sharing helpful content makes you an expert, even if the content you're sharing isn't yours. Be a curator and share this content with your network. If you're an emerging or struggling photographer that's trying to break free from your current 9-to-5 grind and transition to the life of a working pro photographer, that's our obsession here at the Carty Method. Register, get the support you need. If you're alone and struggling at this craft, make sure you join the Carty Method community. You'll always find help in the show notes. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Find your creative and business genius with the Carty Method.
Hey, that was another commercial-free stream. If you are watching this after the fact and you made it to the end of this podcast today, please leave one thing. Say replay gang in chat. And Sean Thomas from Autolux Imagery has dropped $5 down for me. And he has said this: the system works. Yes or yes. Thank you, Carty, for all that you do for us. Sean Thomas, you are getting the smoke. And again, if you've made it to the end of this episode and you've seen my smiling face here, know this. I do this for you. I do this for you, and I couldn't do this without you. And I hope also you feel like you couldn't do this without me. This is an each one teach one situation, and I am here to help you be the next generation of photographers in this industry. Thank you so much.